Celebrating leaders in Rochester's unique and vibrant business community, we'll meet entrepreneurs whose passion and perseverance have helped push through life's challenges. Join us as we share their stories and journeys to success. It's time to be inspired.
Pedro, thank you very much for being our show, Be Inspired, a program that we have developed to inspire our community, to interview people like you who are in business, in your case, international business. But tell us about who is Pedro?
First of all, thank you very much for your invitation, Mauricio. Mauricio is my brother. We are from Bolivia. Actually, I live there. I do business there. Bolivia is a totally different country, obviously. It's an undeveloped country, but it's really interesting. Pedro is a businessman. I work in a factory. We have a factory of plastic bags, polypropylene woven bags. I am a dreamer, hard worker, and really thankful man. I really believe in God, and because I see many miracles succeed in my life, and I am here to respond to your.
Well, no, thank you very much, Pedro, and it's really cool, Julio, to have the opportunity to interview, in my case, my own brother. The fact is that you have grown a lot in your business. When you received the factory, you guys were struggling with a different time in history, and you apply a lot of strategies, and now you became one of the largest in the country in Bolivia, and now you are expanding in different markets in Latin America and doing a lot of import-export experience. So tell us a little bit, what was that experience and how you were able to turn around an organization and make it so successful that it is today?
Well, my company, the company that I am running now, it is a family company. It was established in 1974 with a Japanese. My father-in-law was Japanese, sorry, and he founded the corporation, the company. And in that time, Bolivia, it was so good in mining. But when 80s have a great crisis, and the company and all the business was struggling in Bolivia, so when he called me to start to work with the company, and it was in 2001, the company was working at maybe 17% of the capacity. We used to have just 17 workers in our doing the job, and it was a hard time. And his call, my mission, it was to see what happened, and if don't work, the solutions. It was to close the company. Never have the situation to be in the like broken, but it was so hard time. So I started to work, to do business. It was a really hard time also in Bolivia. Change of the political situation. It was no stable in that time. La Paz is well known because in the past so many strikes, and the people used to go to outside of the streets and block the streets. And it's totally different city in the world. I know many few like La Paz. The factory is in the hill zone, hill area of the city. Is 12,000 feet of the over the sea level, and the city is about 10,000 feet. So when they start to work, start this process. We had to face the lot of strikes on the block street. So I used to go to the factory walking. I remember to count the stairs to go up until the top of the area. It was about 1,000 stairs every day to climb up, and we started hard process to to work. In that time, we also have to send, we send bags, small cost bags by plane in order to cover the contracts that we used to have. But it was a hard time. But since then, until now, we never stopped to build up. Thank God, now we have a really healthy company. We have more than 260 employees, workers. So we produce almost 1,000 tons of polypropylene per month. So it's now we are exporting, and it's a nice company now.
Mm-hmm. Now, does having a factory at that altitude affect your manufacturing process in any way?
Oh yes, definitely. Basically, you have to overdimension your motors, by example. All the devices must be bigger, 20 or 30% of the over the capacity, the regular capacity.
Because of the thinner air, is that?
Yeah, you have a lack of oxygen there, so that's because you need a powerful machinery.
So that's, it's very interesting, La Paz in high mountains, and your production and your factory. Now, Pedro, seeing the expansion and taking risks, what's your philosophy about risk, and how have you approached that? Because it's really interesting to see how fast your company has grown, but at the same time has been systematic and very intentional. So tell us a little bit, what's the strategy around risk and risk management?
Well, we always we are really conservative actually regarding the investments. We make a plan, and we see what are our limitations. We know exactly what are our limitations. We don't have big loans. Our philosophy is to reinvest in the businesses. So all our the growth was modular. We work and we produce. We know that we produce a commodity. The commodity basis to produce big quantities at lowest cost possible. Other secret is not secret, is understand that the technology change every day. Our factory have more than 45 years now, but our machinery have the average age of our machinery is about now 2 years and a half. So we change really frequently. We reinvest. We also educate our people. Many workers were sent to China, by example, to understand the technology. So that is the key point, and to invest a lot in technology.
Well, thank you, Pedro. We'll be back with more after these messages. Since I was in college, I was hearing about, which was a while ago now, about materials that could eventually be used to replace plastic bags. Do you see, because you work in the field and I'm sure you stay on top of the latest things that you just mentioned, how far off do you see the ability for your factory to use plastics that can be environmentally friendly, that could break down over time?
Well,
and the reason I ask is because it always seems like, well, it could be around the corner, but then it doesn't.
Yeah. The problem is the polypropylene is a material. It's a new material. It's a new plastic. There are two kinds: polyethylene, the ones that you see in the stores and the supermarkets, and polypropylene. Polypropylene is totally different. The product obviously is plastic based. We produce woven bags, that is for the larger quantities, 1 ton, or start from 20 or 30 kilos and above. In the polyethylene area, yes, the trend is to cut because it's a huge problem. The process of degradation of the polyethylene is so really slow, and it's maybe 3 times longest than the compared with the polypropylene. And polypropylene also used just for more for industrial purposes. I think in my product, I didn't see big changes on the raw material. Actually, Brazil is one of the leading countries to develop environmental friendly materials, polypropylenes. They are making resin from the sugar cane. But I don't see a replacement in the maybe next 10 years of that material. And if you see the history of the human history, so many thousands of years in the history, they're also present the bags. The bags is the more efficient mean of transportation. So I don't really see a replacement in the short term.
So now, Pedro, you are expanding your organization, your company. You start penetrating in the international market. You start now selling your products in Paraguay and trying to penetrate in other countries, Argentina and other countries. How are what's the economic environment for people to invest and to go to these countries and maybe to start selling products like you are doing? What are the barriers and what are the opportunities?
Well, now South America have the political issues now, but also have a lot of opportunities. It's an open market, it's a growing market. I don't know how to say in English. The farmer area, it's growing so fast. There, sugar, soya bean. There are a lot of room in that area. Also develop the industries also develop a lot. I think that it's a big and nice market to study. I think that there are a lot of chances, many new companies, many new industries, many new investments. Paraguay, by example, is a really nice country. They are doing the things really well. Economy is going excellent. The policy of the government also is really nice. It's investment-friendly country, so it is good. Argentina, we will see what happens after the elections. But in general terms, I think that South America still have a big attractive to do investment.
And how do you decide which country is the right one to expand in? What are some of the factors that you look at to decide?
Well, in our case, we also always go and make the research and try to establish contacts and to develop some customers related with our business, obviously. As I told you, we produce raw material or commodity, and we always try to search that kind of customers. So we always do our job in terms of the legal area. So South America have also some issues in that legal, but and then you have to research the financial also. But in general terms, I think that as I told you, I think that the area is really attractive to do business in general. Now more stable, legally you can do business freely. Establish a company in our area also is now more it is fast and clear. Laws are improving a lot and are more transparent than ever.
That's powerful, and the beauty to see that there is less borders. You know, one of the wonderful things is more fluent commerce, and it's happening between countries, and I think that helps economy. This is essential now. You have been also going back and forth to China, a lot of business going with China, import, export, machinery. How is that market, and how you see that the potential of connections with Asia in general?
Well, China is amazing. It's developing so fast. They have a lot of power and money. The fact that the land owns, the government owns the land, it's a big powerful card for the Chinese people. So they are growing so fast. Obviously, there are some big questions that are behind the scenes, but in general terms, the China that I know 12 or 15 years ago is totally different than the China of now. China is totally it's a modern country, have a lot of technology. They are investing in high technology. They are developing good technology. Actually, our machinery are most made in China. And the difference than the other countries is that they have the market near inside the country. So they are starting to demand a lot of many things. So I think that in the future, China will be the big buyer, not only for the raw materials, will be buyer of final products like clothes, technology, and everything, because the life is improving a lot there.
And speaking of China, I know in Costa Rica, the influence of China in Latin America, I think Americans don't understand just how much China is making inroads into Latin America. Like, for example, in Costa Rica, our brand new national soccer stadium was a gift from China. China was just like, we're going to give you this. How much influence do you see China having in Bolivia and some of the other parts of South America?
Well, in the case of Bolivia, it's really strong. They have a lot of influence. They penetrate in many areas of the economy. Also in the near countries, you can see a lot of investments of China. It's funny when you go to Bolivia and take a plane, at least 20% of the people in the plane are from China. So they are. It's a very strong, and they are investing a lot in that countries. That I think that it's a very good for them. They are really they are planifying very well, and I think that could be a big I don't know how to say a big alarm also for United States. Latin America, it is the natural market for United States in terms of the investment, in terms of the relationships and everything, because China have a lot of influence in Asia. Wherever you go in Asia, China is present. Also, Africa and Europe is trying to do its own group. But what happened with America? America have to have more influence in South America. China definitely is doing a really strong and aggressive job in our area.
Well, Pedro, was really fascinated to have this interview, and really different of other interviews that we have, because you have brought this international concept. And I think, Julio, is important that we in Rochester need to think bigger.
Absolutely.
We need to think international, and I really appreciate what you have shared with us. You think big, you think international, and that's powerful. For that reason, thank you very much for being with us today, Pedro.
Thank you, Mario.
next week, we'll hear from Steve Carl and learn about his latest business ventures. To watch today's episode and the complete interviews of our guests, go to rochesterfirst.com/be-inspired. For more great talk with Rochester's entrepreneurs, listen to Poder 97.1 Saturdays at 9 a.m. For Mauricio Riveros, I'm Julio Saenz. We'll see you next week on Be Inspired.